Alright, so Super Mario 64 released in 1996, and it was a massive critical and commercial success. The game sold millions, and it was very well liked. In fact, the game got a remake on the DS, and it has a lot of ROM hacks. Um, so 5 years later, Nintendo's next console is coming out. Yay! And that console was no other than the GameCube, one of my personal favorite game consoles of all time. And in E3 2001, guess what Nintendo did? Well, they showed a tech demo for it. And it had 128 Marios. And if you look at it, it looks so epic. I mean, and this demo was known as Super Mario 128. It's basically a tech demo for the GameCube. And people have always thought this evolved into Pikmin, which was released a few weeks after the GameCube, and was a new IP from Nintendo at the time that kind of like took power of the GameCube, I guess. And it was the same day as Super Smash Bros. Melee. However, there was never really a true Mario game for the system yet during the first, in 2001 when the system launched. I mean, it launched in November 2001 here in the US, so what would you expect? I mean, so yeah, during the console's launch, there was a Mario game, but it wasn't a mainline Mario game, it was a spin-off. So yeah, Luigi's Mansion released, and it was only about 10 hours long, and it kind of like took use of the GameCube's good graphical abilities. And if you look at Super Mario 64, look at this game. If you look at Mario 64 and look at this game side by side, you can tell this game had a huge graphical difference. So of course there was a lot of good things they can do with a true new 3D Mario game. I mean, if you look at how epic this game was at the time, and of course Nintendo also had announced the next Mario game, the next mainline one at least. Let's talk about it. So yeah, it was time basically. I mean, there was an epic tech demo between Link and Ganondorf. That was so cool. And March 28 was also a cool tech demo, wait, I think I accidentally said Koei Tecmo, but I meant tech demo. Anyway, though, Super Mario Sunshine was announced. As everyone saw the game, and it looked cool, everything. I mean, Mario had this jetpack that shoots water. Mario was in an island. There were so much possibilities. Of course, this game is going to be good. So yeah, and was it? Yes, it was. This game was amazing. However, this game wasn't everyone's cup of tea, and there are some people that just weren't big fans of this game. So we're going to talk about that in just a minute. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. Also, before I get into this, I do just want to say that this video does contain spoilers for the game. This covers my entire thoughts about this game, just like my previous video in the series, which was on Mario 64. So if you haven't played this game yet and you want to go in blind, be sure to pick up a copy of 3D All-Stars, or if you own a copy of this game, put it in your GameCube or Wii, and grab a GameCube controller and a memory card to save, and as we recommend, you play this game first. If you want to play it on the Switch, you have to buy it before March 31st, which is when it's going away. But all that aside, though, let's get with the video. But first, I have one more thing to say. So you guys have been noticing that I've been uploading less and less. That's because I haven't really gotten the time to record. Also, my Bravely Default 2 video that I had planned about my experience with the demo, what I expect from the full game, that has been officially canceled temporarily until I get the full game, which is going to be in a few months, because I have to get a PS5 first with the money I have, but that's besides the point. But let's get on with the video. Alright, so the story begins with a brand new story. This game doesn't really continue the plot, I guess, of Mario 64, but it does kind of feel like a Mario 64 2 in a way. Anyway, though, the story begins with Mario, Princess Peach, and a new character, Toadsworth, going off on a beach. And this scene is pretty epic. I mean, most people call the cutscenes cringe, but to be honest, I like the cutscenes. I mean, they're actually pretty cool, honestly. This game was definitely pretty epic for a Mario game, let's say. And this game took a brand new idea. While Mario 64 was set in the Mushroom Kingdom, this was actually one of the first mainline Mario games to not be. Well, Mario Bros. 2 was set in Mario's dreams, which is which is the Doki Doki Panic reskin, not the Lost Levels. But so Mario Land 1 and 2 are set in Sarasa Land. So this is the third, actually no, this is the fourth main series Mario game to be set in a place that's not the Mushroom Kingdom, but canonically the third, since Super Mario Bros. 2 / Doki Doki Panic wasn't canon. Anyway, though, so the moment you turn on this game, you know that you're going to be in for an epic time. And this game really took a really good, bold new direction for the series. I'm totally glad. So yeah, let's get on with even more points. Alright, so just a few minutes after you get on... you take off and get on the island, you'll meet this new jetpack thing invented by Professor E. Gadd. Yes. The same guy that helped Luigi in Luigi's Mansion, as he invented his paintbrush and Egad's thing. And to be honest, this is such a cool thing. And by seeing this, you know that FLUDD's gonna be in there for a cool time. And indeed, it was. And yeah. But then, let's go with the plot. So shortly after, for some reason, Mario gets arrested. Yeah, this game's plot is honestly pretty weird, but to be honest, outside of Odyssey, this is my favorite Mario plot, to be honest, at least for the main series, because I do prefer the plots in a lot of the Mario RPGs. But the story in this game is definitely, it's weird, but but in a good way, honestly, because Mario gets arrested, but then he's told to clean up the island as a punishment, basically, as he was mistaken for being Shadow Mario, who's really Bowser Jr. So yeah, it's definitely a cool thing, honestly. And now I got the plot was just too weird. I used to not like it, but after thinking late, but as time has gone on, I gained more respect for the story, honestly. And yeah, it's definitely really epic, honestly. But let's go on with the actual gameplay. Alright, so outside of Delfino Plaza and Delfino Airstrip, your first level in the game is Bianco Hills. And as you can see, well, as soon as you set foot on it, you know you're going to be in here for an epic ride. And indeed, because, and of course, this could seem so fun. Yay! But what you have to do too is you also have to spray water and all the time. And a lot of people, and some people aren't big fans of this game, and for a lot of those reasons, because many believe that the flood package is too annoying. But to be honest, it always seems really fun, honestly. But no reason why, yeah, this game is very weird in a way, which is why some people weren't big fans of it, and get clean up a mess. But to be honest, I had fun cleaning up the mess, and yeah, and well, I only have one real problem with the game, which we'll get to later. But yeah, and spraying the water was always really a fun time, of course, as your first task is basically cleaning up a mess. So yeah, and Bianco Hills don't really know like how like well I don't really know like what kind of place it would be, but exploring the windmill spot is really fun too, and yeah. And this game will introduce a staple to the Mario series outside of just Toadsworth. I'm not gonna sorry for any background noises that you might hear in this video. Anyway, though, your first fight in the game is Petey Piranha, and this fight, to be honest, probably a really cool Mario boss fight, honestly. And Petey Piranha quickly became a staple to the Mario series for so after this game, just like with Toadsworth, even though he hasn't appeared as much, but there's another character that has that we'll get to later. And yeah. Right. So the next up, we have yet another area of this game, and that is of course, Gelato Beach. This place is by far my favorite place in the game, and it has my favorite music in the game, definitely, by far. And yeah. and this level, definitely one of the harder levels in the game. Definitely a really cool one, and yeah. But and there's even more as we were going through, and then there's Rico Harbor. And this is also definitely one of my favorite levels in the game. And what's cool about this one is that you get to go surfing. How cool would that be? And the blooper boss here is also pretty cool as well. And and writing on those things, on the blooper things, are also definitely one of my favorite parts of the game, to be honest. And Rico Harbor definitely has some of the best music in the game. Definitely one of the best and definitely some of the best little gimmicks in this game, honestly. But what's next? All right, so this Mario is on a tropical resort. Well, of course he had to go on fun rides at some point. Yep, that's what Peanut Park is for. This level is basically going through an amusement park. And it's always cool. And what this game also introduced as well is that we also got to see Bowser Jr. as Bowser Jr. for the first time. And Shadow Mario, we were chasing him a lot throughout the game. He reveals his identity. This was the first appearance of an iconic Mario character. One of the most iconic Mario characters of all time, Bowser Jr., and one of the main characters in the SML universe. But that's besides the point. This is the game that started the whole Bowser Jr. legacy. Yes, you can thank Bowser Jr.'s existence on this game. And he's also weird in a way, I guess, too, because he calls Peach his mama. But he later on realized that Peach was his mama and he was joking the whole time. But we'll get that's an ending thing, of course. But once again, if you don't want to be spoiled, please play the game first. And yeah, and at this point in the game, Bowser Jr. basically shows his magic paintbrush. Well, like I said earlier in the video, it was also invented by Professor Egad. And yeah, as this was this definitely brought a huge point for the series, basically. And this is where the whole Bowser Jr. legacy began. Like I just said. It created definitely one of my favorite Mario villains. But now let's move on to something else, I guess. Alright, so let's get on with the video. Yeah, I had to pause it midway through anyway, though. So, Mario Sunshine also introduced, these special kind of levels, too, where you don't use FLUDD. Because with this, you also basically have... And you don't even get to use the jet nozzle, the rocket nozzle, or any of those, really. And the 4 FLUDD nozzles, you can't really use them. You can't use FLUDD at all. And these kind of levels that... there's about 8 of these levels in the game, about 7 or 8 in the game. They call them... And they're called the secret levels. And trust me. And I don't know why, but but I've always been never really good at this level. When I went back to it in 3D All-Stars, it was easier. But let me tell you, this game is brutally hard. I mean, not as hard as Dark Souls, Cuphead, but the game's definitely one of the hardest games in the mainline Mario series. And that is because of the secret levels, because it requires a lot of... and that's because the physics get a little slippery there and stuff. I mean, because they can't be floating those levels, they have to just constantly just jump and stuff, and it gets annoying, I guess. And yeah. But let me tell you about something that's even harder. Alright, so at one point in the game, you'll be also encountering... Well, this is optional, but secretly in Delfino Plaza, you can also get shines too. But I don't know why, but I can never beat this level. I actually finally did when I replayed this in 3D All-Stars. But yeah. I don't know why, but I can never be good at this level right here that we call the Pachinko Machine. This is the actual level in the game that people know for being one of the hardest levels in the game. And one of the reasons why this game is so hard, basically. But, as this level, for some reason, the physics are completely broken because Mario acts weird, basically, in this kind of level. Now, there are special glitches, possibly, to do this, and yeah, yeah. And we basically have to go through the particular machine to collect red coins. Yeah, it's nearly impossible. Even though I was somehow able to beat it. Anyway, though, let's go on with even more of the game. Talk about Delfino Plaza. So throughout the course of the game, we're also going to be exploring the game's hub world, the Delfino Plaza. And this is definitely by far my favorite hub world in the series. I did really like Peach's Castle, but I feel like Delfino Plaza was more expanded and had more to it. And it's overall definitely, yeah, once again, it's by far my favorite hub world in the entire game. It's definitely the coolest, honestly. And yeah, and Sunshine definitely has one of the most varieties in its level design. But the next game in this retrospective is even more of that. And the next game in this retrospective is one of my favorite games of all time that we'll get to next in its retrospective. Stay tuned next month when I talk about Galaxy 1 and 2. But all that aside, though, but yeah. But now let's get on with even more levels. Super Mario Sunshine is all about water. I mean, after all, you literally shoot water with FLUDD. But this next level in the game, I've expanded that even more. So at one point in this game, you encounter a place known as Noki Bay, which is which is of course a bay where you're with like a poisonous swamp, and you have to climb up a mountain sometimes too to like drain the water and stuff. And at one point, you want to know what's cool? Well, okay, let me find it. Okay. But one point in the game, you actually get to go underwater. Yes, how cool is that? You actually go underwater and you literally fight a... Alright, this level is also the home to my favorite fight in the entire game, yes. At that point, it would basically be a dentist, be clearing up the teeth of an eel in an underwater area at Noki Bay. This is definitely the most epic part in the entire game. This is my favorite part, basically, or one of my favorites in the entire game. And that's one of my favorite bosses as a whole, as it really brought in a lot of new to it, I guess, for the game, honestly. And it's just so epic. But we're not done yet, because we have about 2 or 3 more, yeah, we have about 2 or 3 more levels to talk about. Well, actually, we have about 1 or 2 more. Let's go. Alright, so at one point in this game, you'll also be exploring a place known as Serena Beach. Yeah, Serena Beach. Yeah, you're exploring yet another beach. With the amazing Hotel Delfino. Yeah, so we're going to a hotel in this level. How cool can that be? Well, let's talk about it, of course. So you go inside it, and it's definitely one of the most epic parts in the entire game. I mean, after all, and every mission that you do there, it's basically, there's a lot to it, and it definitely has some of the most variety in the entire game. In fact, and my favorite part about this definitely is the casino area, because we're going down below for like a casino place, and it's definitely pretty cool. And it's home to the most epic, to one of the most epic boss fights in the game. And that is King Boo, yes. You guys remember King Boo from Luigi's Mansion? Well, he's back in this game, and this time, you're basically playing a casino slot machine game with him, which is honestly really cool and everything. So, yeah. And this is definitely a really cool boss fight, like shooting fruit at him, basically, to make him, and someone will go on fire. And it's definitely one of the most epic parts of the entire game, and even though I've used that word so many times, and yeah, but now let's get on with one more world of the game. Alright, so the last level of the game we have to talk about, aside from the next one, is Pianta Village. So yeah, the Pianta's have a home, of course, and this is definitely one of the hardest levels in the game, but... And it's probably my least favorite level of the game. Well, actually, my second least, because my least favorite is the one I'm going to talk about next. But this is pretty epic. And the best part about it is probably, honestly, taking down the fiery chain chomp, so going throughout it. there are missions there I personally really like, especially for a coin mission, and definitely has probably the best secret level in the game, or at least one of the best secret levels, even though I'm not really the biggest fan of the secret courses, or the areas where they can't use flood I was talking about earlier. But overall, this is definitely one of the cooler levels in the game, but my personal least favorite out of all the levels, aside from the one that we're going to talk about next. So, yeah. Right, so after beating Shadow Mario in all the levels, you're going to see something different about Delfino Plaza, and that's the fact that it's been flooded by Shadow Mario. And it's after you beat him, and after you beat all the Shadow Mario levels in each of the worlds, and yeah. But we also and it goes on a volcano, yes, a volcano, and known as Corona Mountain, yes, long before a virus happened, but that's besides the point. And hopefully I don't get demonetized when my channel gets to 1K from saying that. But all that aside, though, this level it's personally my least favorite because it's definitely the most hardest, most annoyingest area of the game. When I replayed this, well, I don't know why, but for some reason, I can never stand this level. I hate Corona Mountain, and it's really like one of the only parts in the game I don't really like. There's the difficulty is my only issue with the game. If I just look at this game a 9 or 9.5 out of 10, I give 9.5 out of 10 in my Every Mario Game Reviewed series. Yeah, but for the first part, you're going to be using flood on different spiky and fiery platforms. And then there's the boat part. This part is so annoying. In fact, when I replayed this in 3D All-Stars, it took me hours to beat because of this part. And yeah, definitely one of the more annoying parts of this. And again, the blue point's even harder, in fact. And the physics are so broken when controlling the boat. And yeah. And it's easy to see why many people consider this the black sheep of the 3D Mario games. But I personally like it more than many people. Anyway, let's get on with the final boss. And then get on with the ending and then my final thoughts. And then the outro and what I'm doing next, of course. Alright, so then you see Bowser in a hot tub. Yep, you go up with Rocket Flood and you see Bowser in a hot tub. So how epic can this be? This is definitely one of my favorite Bowser fights in all of Mario, and for pretty much good reasons. As you'll be going through different platforms, basically, you're shaped like a shine sprite. You'll be using Flood on them, and you have to not to fall, basically. And it's definitely one of the cooler parts of the game, easily. And you have to be dodging a lot. Yes, a lot. But after you hit all the platforms with Rocket Flood, well, we'll get to that. Can I see my thoughts on the ending? Oh yeah, Bowser and Bowser Jr. fall, of course. Like we all expected, and Peach is back to normal. Yay! And remember how I said earlier that and Delfino Plaza returns to normal. Yay! And now the Piantas are happy, of course. And remember I said earlier in the game when Bowser Jr. called Peach his mama? Well, at the end of the game he realized that Peach was his mama. That's why he's not an idiot. And Ika BBQ pretty much had a video on it already. And yeah, this is definitely one of the most interesting endings, honestly. And definitely one of the more interesting, to be honest. And yeah. And the navigation begins now. However, I do have to end this video a little bit early, but that's it for this game. So yeah, it's a really good game, and you should definitely try it if you haven't already. But let's. Alright, so Mario 64 was a masterpiece, and Sunshine almost was. But next time, it's time to talk about two of the best games I ever played. The reason why I consider myself a gamer now is because of these next two games. These two games truly made me a Mario fan. And next time, we're talking about two of the best games I've ever played, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2.